To be honest, you're the only one.
The funny thing is, I don't know anyone that's actually really merging performing, speaking, and facilitation together.
Hi, my name is Yana. Thank you for watching. This episode starts with an audio introduction and continues with the video content. So remember to watch it until the end. And subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, share with friends. Thank you for being here and listening to Timeless Teachings. Can you imagine how it feels for a woman to be born with only one breast? Hi, my name is Yana, and I'm your guide into the world of mysticism, spirituality, and consciousness. You're listening to the Timeless Teachings podcast or watching Timeless Teachings YouTube channel. Our guest today is Clare Elizabeth Dea, who is a dynamic influencer known internationally as a performance artist, transformational speaker, writer, and creator of Money Yoga for Creatives. Clare was born with Poland syndrome. It means that her body developed only one breast. After being on a deep journey of self-acceptance and self-healing, she decided to transform her shame into success. Today, through her books, courses, and spiritual comedy shows, she is passionate to help others love their imperfections and embrace all characters within the self. Let's welcome Clare. Clare, it is so wonderful to have you here with us for the interview. I am super excited, to be honest.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited. I've never actually been interviewed by anyone in Italy or Spain or wherever in the world you are at the moment.
But right now it is Lithuania, but yes, tomorrow it's going to be Italy. And you are at the moment in Australia, so we're literally across the world, right?
Yes, I'm usually in Melbourne, Australia, but I've escaped lockdown and I'm currently on the Gold Coast, which is a lot warmer than Melbourne. So I'm very happy right now.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And I also must say we have to acknowledge social media for just connecting us, because we have not yet met in real life. We have been connecting on social media. So, and I just always find it fascinating how in this digital world you can just meet people, and because you follow them and you see their posts, there is this connection when you feel like you know a person. And even though today we are speaking for the first time, I feel like I already know you. So that's going to be great.
You'll actually find I could be quite different than I am on social media.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. Now I'm intrigued. So let's see. I like to dive right into it. So let me ask you the first question. And so the first question would be, can you please share with us a little bit about your story? Who is Clare?
Mm-hmm. Well, that could take a long time. So I'm going to do my best to give you the shortened version.
Please.
I popped out of the womb pretty much wanting to be a dancer. I wanted to be on the stage pretty much from the moment I popped out of my mum. And I absolutely loved ballet and I really wanted to be a dancer. However, my first challenge came when I was 15 years of age and I was in my ballet studio in Melbourne, Australia, and I was looking in the mirror and I could see my hair up and I could see my leotard and my tights. But what I could see most was one juicy breast. One juicy breast, the right. The left-hand side, nothing, zipola. No one home. So for most of your audience, I'm guessing that don't know my story, is that I was born with Poland syndrome. So that means that my left-hand side of my body is smaller than the right. I was born without my left pec, so my left breast never developed. And I'm sure that you can relate as a female and remembering back to your teenage years, all you wanted to do was look beautiful. You wanted to feel like you fit in. You wanted to feel like you belonged. And I just felt like a one boob freak. And so
I understand.
Yes.
I understand, because I can imagine I remember my own experience that I have seen with other girls. Even when you have two breasts, it's complicated when you're a teenager. They're never good enough in your own eyes for whatever reason.
Exactly.
So I can only imagine if you have one, how just difficult it must have been for you.
Well, there was just so much shame, and there was so much shame that I made a pact with myself that I would never tell a soul. And I was in a relationship with a man for 4 years, and we have an equal part in the show. So there's Claire, and then there's my light character, and then there's my dark character, which just makes it.
Oh, this is amazing. Yes, which makes perfect sense, because then you show it all in totality.
Exactly. So I had to go through this process of 5 years of creating shows to get to the point where I have me and these two other characters. And I've got a feeling that over time, the characters may go and it will just be all me. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm just throwing it out to the gods and being like, lead me wherever my next step is, because yeah, I'm going through a process at the moment of deciding whether motherhood's for me or not. And so I feel like if I choose the route of having a baby soon with my partner, that might change my performing career a little for a while. So yeah, I'm just navigating that at the moment, which is a really interesting journey as well.
Thank you for sharing that. As you were just describing what came to me as an association line, I guess. I'm not sure if it resonates with you or not, Claire, but it's a little bit like when we learn how to drive a bicycle. And you know those early bicycles with 3 wheels? And so when you were saying there's Claire, and then there is a light aspect of you and the darker aspect, I'm like, it's like a bicycle with 3 wheels. And then maybe eventually it's going to be just Claire. And then everything is in that particular character. So we'll see, right? We'll see where it's going to take us.
Yeah, we'll see.
How do you, when you put together the performance, right? How do you put it together? Are you the one who is doing the writing, like the job? Because I have seen some of that. Yes, right. So how do you do this? Please tell us.
Right. The first thing is definitely a vision. So I need a vision first. So I had a vision for a long time that I wanted to do a show that was one woman on a stage and sharing my breast story. So my story of having Poland syndrome. But when I had that vision, I hadn't even written my book yet. I hadn't yet told my friends about my condition. So I really put that idea on the back burner. But as I then put my book out at my book launch, everyone said to me, as exciting as it is that you've written a book, Claire, whatever you did on the stage today is what you should be doing. And I realized I just kind of did the first version of a one-woman show, because I sang a few songs and I talked about my story. I read a bit of my book, and I was like, oh, I guess it was the start of a one-woman show. So I think the first thing is definitely inspiration, and that you've got an actual story that you actually want to share, whether it's yours or someone else's. Or it's an imaginary story. You need something. There has to be something that's on your heart that you actually want to share. So that's the first thing. Then I realized that I had no idea how to write a show. And it's also quite expensive to use other people's music. And it can be really difficult to use other people's music if you actually want to get your show up and traveling around. And I realized actually I wanted to write my own songs. And I didn't know how to write a song, but as a kid I had learnt the keyboard. As you can see, here's my keyboard.
Yeah, I can see your keyboard, yes.
And so I just started plonking along on the keyboard, and I actually found a co-writer, and we started writing songs together. And so over the last 3-4 years, we've written probably about 15 15 songs together, and then I've written a few more by myself. And I've then just picked out the songs that suit the show. Some of the songs were written with the show in mind, while other songs just channeled through. There'll be just some days where the song will just come through. So it's interesting because there's some songs I've never used in a show, but I just sing it for my own healing. And then there's other songs that they just fit in with my show. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll make that song work. Or I'll be like, I want a song about the law of attraction.
Thank you for sharing that, Claire.
Thank you for bringing us together. I've had so much fun.
Yes, same here. Absolutely same here. And for everyone who is listening to us or maybe watching us on YouTube at the moment, so we will add all the links to how you can connect with Claire if you want to learn from her, to all her workshops, if you want to be mentored by her, or just in general, if you want to watch her show. Is it still available online, your show?
So not the online dating show, but my actual show, Dropping the Mask and Devil Woman, you can actually buy them on my website. So the Spiritual Love Gurus, because that's still live, you can't buy that yet. But the other two shows, because I'll never perform them live again, have been professionally recorded. And so you can actually buy them on my website. So, yeah. I would love to connect with anyone, Facebook, Instagram, email. Yeah, would absolutely love to connect. Just let me know that you've listened to this podcast.
Yes, we would love to hear from you guys. So thank you so much, Claire, for being with us today. Wow, that's an interesting take on spirituality and conscious living. Did you enjoy the interview? Feel free to share this episode with friends. Subscribe to the podcast and YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Stay wild and be humble. До встречи!